Well, Wednesday night on BBC One is Sports Night, and in 25 minutes, this week's edition features European Championship boxing, and Ron Greenwood offers his personal view of the soccer world after 50 years in the game. But now it's time to join John Humphreys for the news.
The row over the Falklands. The Defence Secretary says the Navy's ready if needed. The Foreign Secretary is told off by an angry Mr. Begin. Customs men act to stop gold coin frauds. Roy Jenkins gets a rowdy reception in the Commons. And reporters get the brush off from the returning rebel cricketers. Good evening. In the southern Atlantic tonight, at least 6 Argentine warships are reported to be steaming towards the tiny Falklands dependency of South Georgia. Their government says they'll give full protection to the band of 12 scrap metal merchants dismantling a rusting old whaling station. But British countermeasures are a military secret. Whitehall has stayed tight-lipped throughout the day. A speculation grew that a nuclear-powered submarine was on its way to the Falkland Islands, to which Argentina has always laid claim. And it seems there's already been attempts at mediation by the American ambassador in Buenos Aires. When Defence Minister Mr. John Nott visited an aircraft factory in Lancashire today, he was reluctant to discuss the affair in any detail.
And the Royal Navy, as I say, is the most highly trained navy in the world. And I do assure you that if Great Britain needs to call on the Royal Navy at any time, the Royal Navy will be there and ready. And I'm saying no more than that on the subject that you want me to comment upon. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I know you don't want to make a statement on the situation in the Falkland Islands, but nevertheless, you are the Secretary of State for Defence. There are numerous rumours now about what is going on. Can you make any statement at all about whether warships are on the way, whether a nuclear submarine is on its way?
I never comment on rumours. As far as the British government is concerned, we believe in a peaceful and diplomatic solution to the problem in the Falkland Islands. And it will certainly not contribute to a peaceful and diplomatic solution if the Minister of Defence was to make any statements on this issue.
The Defence Secretary's reluctance to give anything away about what's actually going on has been shared throughout the day by officials at the Defence Ministry and the Foreign Office. No one is actually denying that British warships are heading for the South Atlantic. It may simply be that the government is hoping that the repeated suggestion of a show of strength will be sufficient to deter the Argentines. However, no doubt detailed contingency plans are being made, and that may involve a special task force of British ships. At the centre of today's speculation has been the nuclear-powered submarine HMS Superb, which left Gibraltar unexpectedly last week. It certainly has the capacity to deter. Another suggestion is that a Sheffield-class destroyer such as this, HMS Exeter, is heading for the South Atlantic from its base in the West Indies. But even that trip would take more than a week, and any ship sent from Europe could take as long as 3 weeks to get there. Their destination would be the area off Leith Harbour on South Georgia, where any Argentine naval ships will head to protect the 12 Argentine scrap workers who are busy dismantling the old whaling station there, and who claim a complete right to be on the island, since the Argentines say that it, like the Falklands, is their territory. Such claims are vigorously rejected by the Falklanders themselves, the 1,800 islanders, almost all of whom of British descent, whose families have been farming and trading on the Falkland Islands since they became a British colony nearly 150 years ago. The islanders' determination to resist an Argentine takeover and to remain British is absolute. Earlier today, in a telephone call to Government House in Port Stanley, the Governor of the Falklands, Rex Hunt, told me their reaction to the reports that the Royal Navy is sending more vessels to help them.
If that is true, of course, and I've heard nothing officially about that, then it is very comforting. We were greatly reassured here, the islanders were greatly reassured by Lord Carrington's statement yesterday that he was reviewing the security of the Falkland Islands and the dependencies, and that precautionary measures would be taken. And that has come as a great comfort and reassurance to the islanders.
But would you say that if naval vessels of the two nations are in confrontation in the South Atlantic, a serious situation could develop?
Oh, indeed, it is potentially dangerous, yes, and one would hope that before any serious incident happens between the warships, that we would get a diplomatic solution to this business of the 12 men being on South Georgia, on British sovereign territory, illegally.
In Argentina itself, there have been several anti-government demonstrations within the past 36 hours in Buenos Aires, and it's thought the Argentine government may be pursuing the Falklands dispute to deflect attention from internal problems. Our defence correspondent, Christopher Wayne, arrived in Buenos Aires tonight, from where he sent this report on the evidence of renewed naval activity by the Argentine forces.
The Cinco de Mayo may be 40 years old, but her Skyhawk jets will give air superiority over any force the Royal Navy can send. In any case, the Argentines know that the nearest British warships will take another week to arrive. Both British and Argentine diplomats admit that the presence of scrap merchants on South Georgia is not the real issue. Argentina claims all British possessions in the area, up to and including the British Antarctic territory. With so much military muscle now being flexed, it's getting harder for Buenos Aires politicians to return to the negotiating table. The government here know that annexation of the Malvinas, as they call the Falklands, would be a popular way of diverting attention away from troubles at home.
Christopher Wayne reporting tonight from Buenos Aires. Hopes for a smooth settlement of the dispute now rest largely with diplomats, and much may depend on the Americans. Their ambassador in Buenos Aires has considerable influence with the Argentine government. It may be that he will be able to find a way through this bizarre dispute precipitated by those 12 scrap metal men at a derelict whaling base far out in the South Atlantic.